The philosophy that keeps me alive, Albert Kitzler. Do not try to explain philosophy, but let it become a part of you. These words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus were spoken by a man who, instead of trying to impart knowledge of philosophy, saw his most important task in life as helping people apply its wisdom to their daily lives. Philosopher Diotima shares ancient wisdom that keeps me alive.
If a dog howls at the moon, is the moon in pain? When others point out your weaknesses and flaws, acknowledge them lightly. And say to yourself to feel inadequate, inferior, worthless. It's because we think of ourselves as perfect, strong, rational beings with no weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Christianity sees man as a fragile creature made in the image of God. People who overestimate human beings in this way easily feel inferior. They put endless pressure on themselves and make excessive demands on themselves and others. If some of these demands are not met, they quickly become frustrated and disappointed. No one should have to be better than anyone else. Everyone carries their own burdens. Conversely, you don't have to be frustrated that you're not good enough. Because everyone is equally valuable. If you can't love yourself, you can't love others. Be understanding, kind and accepting to others, and do the same for yourself. I don't regret the past. I remind myself that I am only human and have weaknesses and limitations. I just need to reduce the number of mistakes I repeat. Don't be hard on yourself and accept your weaknesses. We need to see things as they are, not as high standards, whether it's ourselves or others. Setting too high expectations for yourself is just pride. Don't rely on others to make you feel accepted. Practice giving up looking to others for approval. Self-worth is something you find within yourself. I am not a better person because someone praises me. I am not a worse person because someone criticizes me. Just as happiness must come from within me, so too must recognition come from within me. Don't expect too much from others. It's best not to do it at all. We all have weaknesses and flaws, we're all self-centered to some extent. And that's something we can't change. Recognize that external conditions are only of relative value. And focus on the fact that inner values are absolutely more important. All external things come and go for us. You can find your own happiness even if you wander. As long as you stand on the right path, you can only get along with the world. If you are a person who knows how to flexibly adapt to it, while keeping what is yours, it's more about how regularly you do it. Just like exercising to build a healthy body, you have practice reflecting on your thoughts. And it's not about how long you do it, it's about how regularly you do it. You have to learn to relativize and to emphasize problems to make them seem less important. Give sincere signals that you're trying to understand. And empathize with the arrogant person. And tell them what you think. You should try to understand why people are behaving badly. And help them to behave better. Reacting in anger makes everything worse. When I start to get angry at someone and I feel the irritation building up inside of me, instead of reacting to the emotion right away, wait a moment for the initial whirlwind of emotions to subside. Reacting in an agitated state makes everything worse. Great people don't get insulted when others insult them, and they don't get ignored when they ignore them. Don't put your self-esteem in other people's hands, keep it entirely in your own. Most arguments are over trivial things, so it's not worth getting excited or fighting in the first place. Focus on what's important and think about your long-term goals in life. You don't have to be a tight asserter of every right you have. Just think about the original life goals you were pursuing. You don't have to be so tightly important about your ideas and rights. Even if you want to achieve your goals, you need to be mentally prepared to be affected by other people, external conditions, and chance events. Even if you plan your trip, you need to remember that things may not go as planned and be flexible. Even if things don't go smoothly, you can still conclude that you've experienced a lot from your trip. Be content with what you have, with the way you are. And be grateful for it, and don't cling to what you don't have. Say, okay, to your life, to your thoughts, to your feelings, to everything as it is. This acceptance will make it easier to achieve your goals. The process is the goal. You'll find more satisfaction in the process of getting to your destination. Don't give too much importance to external things. It will only make you always want more. The only way to find lasting satisfaction is to look within yourself. Try to focus on what you are doing. If you are very disciplined, you can even meditate while washing dishes. You should accept what comes, give up what doesn't come, and let go of what fails. Then I can't feel anger and frustration. Whenever you recognize that you've been clinging too strongly to a wish, try to cut yourself some slack. Being grounded in reality will help you appreciate what you have now. It shouldn't be self-suggestive but philosophical. If it doesn't work out, just do something else. Do your best, but don't get attached to the outcome. This way, you'll achieve more than you would if you were obsessed with the outcome. This is because worry, fear, anger, frustration, stress, insecurity, and overwhelm will deplete your inner energy and sap your strength. Only those who enjoy peace of mind and inner balance on the way to their goals will be able to reach them. Simply reducing the weight of meaning in our relationships with external objects will help us to achieve inner calm and nonchalance. Shift your priorities right now. Realize that the process is more valuable than the goal, the present is more valuable than the future. What you have is more valuable than what you don't have. And the life you have now is more valuable than the life that is yet to come. Practice humility and gratitude. Practice, practice, practice all of this. Do your best to achieve your goals. Rather, it's more important to find satisfaction in the process of working, regardless of whether you achieve it or not. Observe yourself, listen to your inner voice, and find your own authenticity. Take stock of the things that prevent you from being yourself. Look at whether you feel more or less energized. Stoic philosophy is also resolute in its attitude to death. Your grief over your daughter's death is unspeakable. But remember that every day for 24 years with such an angelic child was a gift. Think of the good and happy moments you had with her, and look at them again with joy, not sadness. Consider yourself lucky to have had 24 years with your daughter. We all face death. Don't avoid trying to work through the grief of death. Don't wallow in self-pity or feelings of loss. If you feel that way, practice breaking the cycle again and again. Find tasks and activities that require focus and effort. Death is connected to life. There is no order of death. Everyone leaves eventually. But does anyone really know where they're going? Maybe people are sad about death because they think it's a bad thing? Maybe death is the door to heaven. Maybe it's a better place than here. Be grateful for the thoughts, memories that were with you. Don't be overly sad when what you've been given leaves your side again. Everything is borrowed from the beginning. Reconcile with the death of your daughter. Say, okay, to what happens in nature, and stop asking questions like, why my daughter? We must work to transform the energy rooted in negative emotions into productive energy that is valuable and conducive to growth. If you don't change your thoughts, nothing will change. Practice changing your perspective. Relationships are inherently impermanent. Let go of attachments and don't make your happiness dependent on the choices of others. Happiness and unhappiness do not depend on external events, but on harmony and balance within yourself. Repeat this truth morning, noon, and night until the inner knots that hold you to the past are unraveled. Self-esteem should come from within oneself and not be tied to the approval of others. This is a kind of attachment, and attachment leads to dependence and non-independence. Whether others approve of you or not is beyond your control. You will realize that times of pain and times of joy are essentially one. You will learn to say, okay, and accept it as part of your destiny. Even if it is an unjustified illness caused by a doctor's misdiagnosis. I will realize that times of pain and times of joy are essentially one and the same. Wasting energy on things I can't change can cause me to miss out on things that are within my power to change. You can't allow negative emotions to destroy your life. Focus on the positive, the things that bring you joy. This is a kind of attachment, and attachment leads to dependence and non-independence. Only think about the opportunities that are still in your life. Pay attention to the signals your body is sending you, and take care of the things that will make you healthier in the future. The course of your life is a law of nature. Just as matter contracts and expands, don't expect your mind to change instantly. Give yourself time. This is a kind of attachment, and attachment leads to dependence and non-independence. Philosophy is not medicine, so there is no such thing as a quick fix. Rather, it seeks sustainable change. Practice, practice, practice all of this. This is Albert Kitzler, Germany's leading philosophy consultant. He was once a successful lawyer and an Oscar-winning film producer and director, but he gave it all up to become a philosopher.